Hi guys, this is a VR to Piper Sam on his 100 sub giveaway. First of all, the housekeeping. I'm smoking my Cobbett Shire. And in honour of the Shire, I'm smoking Hobbit Swede. The question that Piper Sam asked is, what science fiction universe would you like to live in? Well, I'd like to live in the Dune series universe. I think it's a fantastic series, a fantastic story, and is equally as realistic and as well written in the sense of what the author puts across, the different guilds, the different races, the different characterizations as Tolkien, and that takes some beating for me because Tolkien is the master. But it's all centered around this universe that's ruled by the Emperor and by the great houses, and the great houses are always at war with each other, really. There's House Harkonnen, which are the villains of the piece, and the other house has gone straight off my mind.
Atreides?
House Atreides, thank you, Carolyn. I'm glad you've been involved with Dune as well. House Atreides, which are the heroes. And there are a group on this planet called Dune, called the Fremen, who live in the deep desert. The Harkonnens don't believe anybody could live there. And it's a very, very well thought out book. Amongst the guild are the Guild of the Bene Gesserit, which are the women who run the breeding program. They ensure that their members are chosen by the great houses to be the wives of the leaders of the house, but then they make sure which breeding line they follow and whether they allow them to have boys, girls, or what. There's the House of Mentats, because computers aren't allowed. That's explained in some of the earlier books, why they're not allowed. And the Mentats are really human computers. They also usually work as chief of assassins for the houses. Besides the Mentats and the Bene Gesserit, there are the Suk doctors. These are a group of doctors who are trained in medicines, but they're also supposed to be unbreakable. And they wear a diamond on their head to show that they're a Suk trained doctor and therefore totally reliable. And then there's another house, another guild. The Guild of Mentats, the Guild of the Bene Gesserit, the Guild of the Doctors. No, that might be it. But and then yes, there's the Navigators. These are the space pilots. They rely on the melange, which is can only be had off Dune. It's a product of the great worms that roam the planet Dune. And it enables the navigators to bend space so that they can travel without moving. So they would bend space so two planets came together, and then it bends back and they're left by the new planet. It enables them to travel safely through the vast ranges of space. The other thing about the melange, the spice, it has effects on long life for the people who take it. It also can affect the mind. The Bene Gesserit drink what's called the waters of life. That's they drown one of the little worms, a young one, and as it pukes up, they put it into a bag, this water, and then the sister drinks it, and if she doesn't die, she transforms it into something that's good, because it's poisonous to anybody except the sisterhood. And having done that, she then becomes a Reverend Mother in her own right. That's enough of the description. I could go on for hours about it. But there are several books written by Frank Herbert, and then several more by his son, which fill in the earlier works and the later works. Equally as good books as well. You ask what would be the disadvantage of living on, of living in that universe. Well, one of the disadvantages is that there becomes a Messiah, a Dune Messiah. He takes over and things get a bit complicated from there on in. So you have to constantly sort of think of not being a heretic in a sense. But if you lived on Dune, or Arrakis as it's called, it's certainly the great worms, not a drop of water falls on Arrakis. So water's a great problem. The Bene Gesserit are a great problem, and the Mentats can be. You can have ordinary Mentats and twisted Mentats. And the Guild Navigators are transformed by melange into a worm-like creature. So there are quite a lot of dangers out there, but I'd still like to live in that universe. I think it would be a great universe to live in. And I'd like to sort of travel and find out more about it to the very limits of it, where the renegade families live. You also ask what tobacco that we haven't had that you'd like to try, and that's a difficult one for me. I think one that I'd like to try is the search for mushrooms, or whatever it's called. You know that one. Or if it was a particularly aromatic one, then Lane IQ. I think that would be one. But yeah, I think that would be. But I want to really congratulate you, Sam, on the reaching 100 sub. You deserve it. Your videos are good. You're a credit to the community, and I'm sure your subs will soon go up. And before you know it, you'll be 200, 300, and onwards. So I think I'm going to leave it there and hope that that's okay.